Hello, Maria Drushkova here. This is for Linda. We discussed a problem that a young child had with adding 13 and 26. So I suggested that first I would work on oral mathematics, just words. I would try it with tens first, something like, hey, can you imagine 20? Can you imagine 30? What do you think 20 plus 30 is? So I would want the child within the first 100 to be able to add whole tens without writing anything down. Things like, what is 30 plus 40? What is 30 plus 50? Give me a problem like that. Did I get it right? So I would do a lot of that play. And then I would move on to where one of the numbers had ones as well. Something like, what is 35 plus 10? What is 20 plus 43? So I would get the child to think in tens first, and then in tens and ones a little bit. And then I would move to this problem. What is 13 plus 26? So we would play like that with words, but I would also use visual representations. So in the visual representations, I'm going to screen share now. This is the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives pattern blocks, and you can create a problem with that. So before we solve anything, I would show how to make problems. So these are ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. We don't need that many, so I'll dial it down to just ones and tens. And I would say, can you show me 26? So I would expect the child to do that 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's wrong. Is that just 2? Okay, how do I remove this? I'll clear. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I made it in this order. I first made tens and then ones. There is no reason to basically do it this way. So now I can begin a problem and make the other number in, oh, I have to drag them. Okay. That doesn't work as I expected. See, that's why you first create it with, well, yourself and then the child. So it's been a while since I played. So here is again 26. But now I want to drag some of those to create 13. And it doesn't matter which, if we start left or right, because look what I have. So now I have 13 here, but it's just 13 up there. So I just noticed something. 13 is a half of 26. It's a coincidence, but you can talk about these things with kids if you notice. And then you create, okay, here you are. And if that happens, you can unobscure the little square. Okay, so now you set up the problem like this. So 26 is up top and 13 is down the bottom. And you may need to discuss a lot of things with your kids before you get to that setup, just like I had to do some back and forth with by myself with this software. And of course, if you have these blocks physically, it's better to do it by hand. But some children do like a lot to work with screens, so whichever the child likes. And now you can solve it just by dragging things together. So I can select the whole thing, maybe, no. I can drag the numbers up top now. And you can see that the total is 9 now. And I can drag this here, and it's 39. So basically, I can do a lot of play around to see what all problems give me the same answer. And that's another type of play I would do a lot here. But here is the original problem, 26 plus 13, or I guess it was the other way around, doesn't matter, but that's something for the child to discover too. And if you begin it, you, well, somehow solve it. The computer solves it for you. But you can use this to discuss how it represents a certain number of ones, certain number of tens. You can see it doesn't matter in which order you do it. You can do ones first or tens first. And you can see how playing with this particular model generated a lot of ideas, even for me. And I didn't even have a child here. But if you do have a child, then you'll generate many more questions, answers, ideas, because the child will play. And as the child play, you'll observe. So as you manipulate the model, you manipulate the mind. Your own, you help to manipulate someone else's mind a little bit. It sounds intrusive, but hopefully it's playful and it feels good. So that's the idea here. You make this representation, you play with the representation consistently, you play with tens and ones. You do not need to organize. Usually when you only have 2 place values, you don't have to organize them on the left and on the right and so on. It's not enough. Only when you have 3 or 4, you need to start devising structures like abacus or the place value system as we have in our writing, or any other number of ways to keep them strictly organized in space from left to right. With just 2 values, it can be any which way. People won't get lost between them. Even if it's just orally in words, as you say, 26 plus 13. There is no spatial organization here, just words. So I hope it expresses what I think about it, but also helps to learn how to do it. And most importantly, what I almost forgot, let's continue this conversation.